hopefully reunite and be constructive with the family so that the people can end up happy, mostly the children. And that's what it's all about. And I think that's what we're all here for. We want to be involved in our children's lives, and we want our children to grow up a happy, healthy childhood, and they can be productive members of society. And I'm going to have Steve Patterson come up, and he's going to do an introduction for the rest of the meeting. And question and answers is going to be moderated through Patrick over here, Patrick McCabe. And then in the wrap up, Steve will come up and address us all for the end of the meeting. Steve, can you come up?
Sure. Thank you. Well, firstly, thanks for coming today. I think this is an important meeting, so it's great that you're here. I want to thank Dr. Merderos, actually chosen by Fernando. The title's not necessary to tell me, but I told him anybody who actually did their dissertation deserves the recognition. But just take a minute. Dr. Merderos has been with DSS and now the Department of Family and Children, specifically to address fatherhood issues. There were a number of reviews of the department that were not as favorable as they might be about fathers, especially in the placement of children with fathers a number of years ago. And he's engaged on a process of changing both the services that are available, I think, for fathers, including fathers, in the process more, and sensitizing people internally to the needs of fathers. I think I'll let him talk a little bit further in just one moment. I've given a general introduction here for an agenda. It's not cast in concrete. I said 45 minutes for him to talk and 45 minutes for questions. I think when he covers everything he'd like to, we are going to move to questions, and we'll give as much time up until 8:45 as is constructive and useful. It's very, very important. We're all here because we love our children, and our children love us, and we want to spend more time with them. And there are very emotional issues to deal with in terms of the Department of Children and Families. I think we need to leave our personal stories behind and focus on specifics with the department and the role of Fernando Merderos. And we'll talk more about that during the question and answers. So I think it's very important that we focus on what we can all generally learn about this and how we can improve our lives and the time that we spend with our children. Without anything more to say, I'd like to turn things over to Fernando Merderos and start the meeting.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for being here. As I start, let me hand out this. These are materials that I hand out within media, and those are something that made me useful about my work. I'm going to sit down in a couple of minutes. I have a bad knee. I hope you don't mind. I am here because I am director of the Fatherhood Initiative at DCF. And the Fatherhood Initiative is a way of helping, of actually getting practice to within the coalition to change. There's a problem in Massachusetts and also around the country in that child welfare agencies tend to work a lot more with mothers. The way they think of it is that we work with primary caretakers. And when they walk into situations where there's been a report of abuse or neglect, a lot of the time the person that they find is a primary caretaker, probably 80 to 90% of the time is the mother. The father may be present. I'm collecting some data right now, and it looks like when DCF gets involved, and about half to two-thirds of the time, the father is not living at home with the family. So the tendency is to work with a primary caretaker, and less likely if he's not at home, less likely if there are multiple fathers or children with multiple fathers, etc. So the work is to get the agency to begin working with men. And you see, in these materials, as you go through them, you see a whole different bunch of things. This is actually written for DCF workers to help them think and shift their thinking. So in the first page, in the inside, actually the second page, I talk about what are some reasons why we should be working with fathers. And the first set of reasons have to do with a lot of the research which you all probably know, which have to do with the benefits that fathers bring to children. And I'm always careful within DCF and in other settings not to say that a child can't flourish with a single mom. But it's very clear that when a father is present, the research tends to show that they add something, particularly if they're healthy, consistent, nurturing, and so forth. And my argument in DCF is if you're really concerned about the welfare of children, we have to work with both parents in the family. And I need to make that argument, and maybe useful to think a little bit about history. I need to make that argument because I think that what's happened is that agencies like DCF grew out initially out of welfare departments. And if you go back to welfare departments in the 60s and 70s, what they were doing is they're providing benefits to single mothers. If the father was present, it was a problem. So what people used to do was that the father would hide. And it became habit, then the system kind of pushed the invisibility of fathers. Fathers were inconvenienced. So if fathers were present, the women and children would lose benefits. Am I making sense about that?
Yes, yes.
So originally you had welfare, and then they created out of the same agency, they split up a group of people. It became first DSS and now DCF. So they had already a habit of not working with whole families. And in fact, those welfare policies, I think, are very harmful. Because poverty isn't just about single women, it's about families. It's about people who are poor. And we're still paying the price for those terrible policies. But people thought that if you were getting money, if you were poor, if you were unemployed, if you were getting money and seeking assistance, you were just scamming the state. So you've got to be in a bad way. Man can't be there, etc. So those are conditions that were set. And I think the other reason why historically child welfare agencies haven't worked with fathers is because of caseload problems. When a worker's caseload gets beyond 17, 18, 19 families, when they get into 20, 25 families, what happens is that they want to work this with one adult per family instead, because they're supposed to meet with, visit, and check each family at least once a month. That's if things are supposedly going well. So if you're going to work with both parents, it could be two visits. So I think that even though the regulations and policy require us to be working with both parents and to find, locate, and search out the parent who is not at home, usually much more often the father, it didn't happen. And I think it was kind of a way to get by with heavier cases. The state, Massachusetts, and many other states have slowly moved to increase their workforce and lower caseloads. So I think it's now time for the system to say we need to change the historical practice. Am I making sense?